If you're planning a trip to Colorado, we've got the ultimate weekend itinerary for you. Join us as we explore the charming town of Boulder, discover the stunning beauty of Estes Park, and venture into the breathtaking Rocky Mountain National Park. From hidden gems, delicious eateries, and must-see spots, we'll show you how to make the most of your weekend adventure. Let's dive in. If you guys are new here, we're Giselle and Steven, also known as the Lover's Passport. We've traveled to over 40 countries, we've been to over half the US states, and our passion is travel. If you guys love to travel and want more weekend itineraries just like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now with that, let's go ahead and dive into the itinerary. For this itinerary, you're going to be basing yourself in Boulder, which is just around 90 minutes outside of Denver. It's a perfect spot for the weekend adventure because it's the gateway to Rocky Mountain National Park, as well as it's close enough to Denver if you want to see a basketball game, a football game, or just have a nice hotel room. It's a great spot to stop at. Speaking of where to stay, we would highly recommend staying at the St. Julian Hotel. This was our personal favorite. It's located right in downtown Boulder. It's a beautiful location. It has a great pool. It has an incredible spa, a great spot to host a wedding, and our favorite part is that it is walkable distance to almost every single spot we are gonna tell you to go to in this itinerary. So we're gonna start off with a rapid fire 5 of our favorite places that we went when we were visiting Boulder. Number 1 is going to be Bar Taco. This is a great spot to go for lunch. It is also a great spot to go in the evening if you're looking to grab a quick drink and also grab a bite. It's located right on the famous Pearl Street, so we would highly recommend stopping here. Next up at number 2 is Boxcar Coffee. This is one of the OG spots to grab coffee in Boulder. We would highly recommend going there earlier in the morning because it does tend to get pretty busy. The inside is pretty small. There are a few locations, but we would recommend the one closest to the downtown area, especially if you're staying at the St. Julian. If you guys are looking for one of the best views with a great cocktail in Boulder, we would highly recommend going to Corrida. This is going to be our 3rd spot. They are famous for their gin and tonics, and it has a stunning view over the Flatirons, especially if you're there during sunset with a nice gin and tonic in your hand. The food is delicious, but we decided to just go there for a little pre-dinner drink. Number 4 is going to be Stella's Cucina. It was our personal favorite spot. We went in our entire time in Boulder. It is kind of hard to find. It just has a little S on the door you're gonna walk past, and it takes you into this Star Wars / Star Trek-esque type of restaurant. It is a Japanese style restaurant that has delicious food. They serve Italian food there. It's very well designed. It's beautiful, has a great atmosphere. Think of this as a great date night spot. It is going to be a little bit more on the pricey side, and you most likely are going to want to make reservations here as well. And coming in at number 5 is the Kitchen. This is going to be a more relaxed spot, great for families. It does have pretty good drinks, pretty good food, all around a great eatery, and it was located once again on the famous Pearl Street. Now, that is going to take us into our top 5 things that you need to do when you're in Boulder.
So one of the best things to do while you're in Boulder is go visit the Boulder Reservoir. It is a 20-minute-ish drive away from downtown Boulder, and we'd highly recommend getting out on the water, whether you're renting a kayak or a paddleboard.
We are out here. It's a little windy now, but when we first started paddling, it was so beautiful out. It is a stunning day in Boulder. Guys, I've never seen so many ducks in my life. We're paddleboarding and there's just like hundreds of ducks right next.
We decided to go through Rocky Mountain paddleboards for our sup rentals. Make sure to do it earlier in the day rather than later in the afternoon if you do want to do this, because the waves do pick up a little bit in the afternoon. Typically, it's just calmer water when you're out paddleboarding in the early morning. So definitely recommend doing that during your time there. There is no swimming actually allowed in the reservoir, so just note that, but we definitely still recommend wearing swimwear while you're out doing your water activities. Our personal favorite thing that we did during our time in Boulder was to check out the beautiful views of the Flatirons. Now, I'm not a Boulder local, so you can correct me if I say it wrong, but the Chautauqua Park, which is right below the Flatirons, is stunning. It's the home to a ton of different trailheads. Whether you want to hike up to the 1st and 2nd Flatiron, which is what we decided to do, it's one of the most popular trails in the area, or if you wanted to head up to Royal Arch, another very famous spot, which is unfortunately closed while we were there, but when it's open, it's a stunning hike that a lot of people in the area recommend. There's at least 10 other hikes here in the area that you could do, and there's just endless beautiful trails. So definitely get hiking in this area when you are visiting Boulder. We decided to go up the first and second Flatiron Trail at sunrise, which gave us a really beautiful panoramic view of the whole city, and it also made it so that there weren't too many people on the trail while we were hiking there. Next up, check out the Boulder Farmers Market. We decided to go here on a Saturday, and it was so cute. There were a ton of different vendors, whether you're looking for food or just like fresh organic groceries, lots of local produce, things like honey and fresh bread and fresh flour. So it's a really nice area to walk around, especially when it's a sunny day. Go grab some fresh coffee and some bites to eat. Next, if you're looking for a really good sunset spot that is a really easy drive up, we would recommend checking out the Lost Gulch Overlook. Now, if you don't want to go hiking up the Flatirons, this is a great alternative since it is maybe a 2-minute walk from the parking lot to see a stunning view of the mountains. We went up here, unfortunately, it was a little bit rainy for us, but on a clear sunny day, you can get some spectacular sunsets up at the Lost Gulch Overlook. And last but not least, you have to check out the famous Pearl Street.
We are now located in the most popular area of Boulder, which is Pearl Street. This is basically an outdoor shopping mall. If you're looking for anything outdoorsy at all, if you guys are looking for amazing food, a rooftop bar to watch the sunset over the Flatirons, it is a really fun area to go and walk around. It's gonna be great nightlife here. Seems like it's a mix between college life and a lot of families here, so we would definitely recommend checking it out. And the nice thing is it is extremely walkable. It takes probably about 20 minutes to walk the whole end of Pearl Street. And we would also say that if you have a bike or if you are planning on parking, tons and tons of parking around the area as well. There's lots and lots of parking structures, but would highly recommend adding this to your list. If you get here in the morning, it is very quiet because most things aren't open, so we would recommend coming towards the evening or the afternoon.
You could definitely spend a whole chunk of your day exploring everything that Pearl Street has to offer.
After you spend your time in Boulder, you're gonna take a little road trip up to Estes Park, the gateway to Rocky Mountain National Park. All we really recommend doing here is grabbing a quick bite and then heading into the park. One thing to note about Rocky Mountain National Park is during the summer months, you are going to want to make sure that you get reservations. Reservations come out at 7 p.m. the night before you want to enter. So we set an alarm on our phone. We would be ready right at 7 p.m. We would jump on, and you want to look for the Rocky Mountain National Park Bear Lakes Access Road. That is where all of the best stuff is. So as soon as you drive up to Rocky Mountain National Park, we'd recommend grabbing a sandwich at Rocky Mountain Deli. That was our personal favorite. They make great sandwiches, especially when you're midway through your hike. And from there, drive into the Bear Lake entrance. In Bear Lake, there's a few different things that you're going to want to do. We're going to tell you how to spend the best one-day itinerary in Rocky Mountain National Park. So first things first, if you have the opportunity, we would definitely check out Bear Lake at sunrise. It gets this golden glow over the mountains. You get a stunning reflection during the summer, and was one of the most beautiful things that we saw there. After you check out Bear Lake, we are going to start hiking. The first spot that you're going to see is Nymph Lake. This is about 10 minutes up the hike from where you stop and see Bear Lake, and it gives you this stunning lily pad lake overlooking the mountains. After Nymph Lake, you're going to continue hiking up, and you're going to make it up to Dream Lake. Dream Lake is another massive lake. We wouldn't recommend jumping in there or hanging out too long though. Personally, we would continue on to either Emerald Lake or Lake Huiaha. Lake Huiaha right now has some of the most blue water because of a recent landslide that happened there in Colorado. So it is absolutely stunning, this gorgeous turquoise water. So that was one of our favorite spots to go hang out, eat our sandwiches. After that, we hiked back down to Dream Lake and hiked up to Emerald Lake, which is another really easy little day hike. We checked out all 4 of those lakes in about a 4-hour time span with eating lunch, relaxing, and coming back down. As soon as you finish, we would recommend checking out Splurge Lake. It's another lake on Bear Lake Pass. It's a beautiful lake you can check out during sunset or sunrise. And if you have extra time, the last thing we would recommend is driving the highest continuous road in the US. This is called Trail Ridge. It does take about an hour to 2 hours to drive, take it all in, and you are definitely going to want to make sure you bring some snacks because it does get really, really hot. There's nothing up there besides the Alpine Visitor Center, and the opening hours hours for that are very hit and miss. So when you're driving Trail Lake Ridge, just remember to stop at all the different pullouts. It is a beautiful drive. You get to see all the 14,000 foot peaks around you, and it's just magnificent to take in. And that is it for how to spend the perfect weekend in Boulder, Estes Park, and Rocky Mountain National Park. For this itinerary, we would recommend a long weekend, so a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you can squeeze in a little 4-day weekend, you'll have even more time to enjoy the beautiful area. If you want to see more tips and tricks like this and itineraries around the US and the world, make sure to give us a like and subscribe. And with that, we'll see you next week with another adventure.